Hello! I just wanted to go over a few things, hit on a couple topics today with y'all. It's been a while since I've been on here because I'm forgetful and I remember halfway through or when I'm almost done. Oh yeah, this would have been a great recording opportunity. Whoops! So anyways, I wanted to touch on a couple things today even though I'm not exactly starting anything. We have been doing some freeze-dried eggs. And so I was just going to show you that real quick. I have freeze-dried egg here. Normally I put it in my big blender, but if I wash it, then it's going to be wet, and then I got to make sure it's dry all the way. So I'm just using something that's already clean and dry. I'm taking little chunks of egg and putting it into my blender cup. Once that is full, and I'll put on the lid, put it in my blender. Let me see if this will, you can kind of see it there. Shots in this cup, but you can see how it's turned into a nice powder there. I've been doing eggs in the Mylar bags, obviously to save them, but since this Mylar bag fits a lot of eggs, I've been sealing them about halfway and then doing 2 batches. So that way when I go to open this one, we'll cut the top open, we'll have this, and then have another batch of eggs at the bottom that is sealed. I do put a oxygen absorber in both halves. So there's an oxygen absorber all the way already in here. And then I just have this one tray of eggs that we had. I didn't do a big batch. I did 1 tray of eggs, and then I've got some words. These are cut up meatballs. I have cut up meatballs in the other trays. So let's get this egg powder. Let's get the eggs powdered, and then I will move on and tell you a little bit about the meatballs. So I got all the eggs ground up and in this top section of my Mylar bag, so I will seal that in a moment. In 1 tray, we put about 20 eggs. So if we do a full batch in the medium dryer, we get 4 trays of 20, so we get about 80 eggs. So we just add roughly, 2 tablespoons of egg to about 2 tablespoons of water, and that makes about 1 egg. And then the other thing that we just freeze dried for the first time is we went to Costco and got a bag of meatballs. So we got, one of the bags is 6 pounds of meatballs. We cut them into quarters because somebody we saw said cutting them in half took quite a while to rehydrate. So hopefully in the quarters will take less time to hydrate. So anyways, I think you've seen me do this before. The easiest way I found without buying an expensive standing funnel is to put the funnel in my half-gallon mason jar, and then I'm just going to dump the meatballs into the mason jar and then into the Mylar bag. So since it was a 6-gallon bag of meatballs, we got roughly 2, did I say gallon? 6 pounds. We got roughly 3 trays. So I'm assuming about 2 pounds pre-freeze dried on each tray. So this right here is 1 tray. So that is just under 6 cups. So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the eggs with the meatballs, because this is one of the big Mylar bags. And if I dump these in, then they only fill up about half. So I think I'm gonna seal this, and then I'll put another tray in and seal the top. And that way I'm not using only half a Mylar bag and wasting this half. I do need 2 oxygen absorbers. As I said before, I'll put one in here and then I'll put one in the second half after I've sealed it. So that's something to think about if you are ordering freeze drying supplies. I ordered equal amounts Mylar bags to oxygen absorbers, but next time I'll probably get twice the amount of oxygen absorbers for the times when we do double in one bag. Okay, so I've got 3 bags ready to seal almost. Here's a package of oxygen absorbers, and I don't need all of them. There's 10 in here. I only need 4. I can count. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna put 1 in each bag. I'm gonna leave 1 out for the half a bag, so I gotta seal the bottom first. And then I'm gonna take the remaining, I feel like I doubled up on 1, 2, 4, no, there's 6. I'm gonna take the remaining and put them in this little half a pint mason jar and get the lid screwed on, and then I'll reuse, not reuse because I haven't used them yet, but I will use these then. But this is how I seal them in the meantime, since I don't need to use 10 all at once. So this one I'm sealing at the halfway mark, roughly. Okay, so I got that sealed at the halfway mark. I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully the rest of these meatballs will fit. That might be wishful thinking. Nope, they sure won't. Our new Mylar bags. I've got this plus what I put in there. Did you hear that ping? That was the ball jar sealing with the oxygen absorbers in it. Ping, because it's eating up all the air. Okay, so I did not estimate properly, so I had to put the extra in a new one. I've got my oxygen absorber, shove that down in there. Get this one sealed up. I like to make sure it feels smooth across this. I figure if there's wrinkles in the Mylar, it's not going to seal as securely. As airtight would probably be the proper verbiage. And then in all things, label, label, label. So, meatballs, approximately 2 pounds, and I'm gonna put fully cooked, and February 2022. And then the other thing that I like to do is, let me show you on this one, it's a little easier. This is where I sealed it. I'll put my finger in up here and feel it just to make sure it's sealed all the way. Depending on the thickness of your Mylar, it's important to make sure that the heat is on it long enough to seal it completely. I had a couple that I hadn't had it on long enough, and I could basically take it and pull it apart like a bag of chips, which is not a good enough seal. Two other things that I wanted to touch on real quick. We made chicken sausage yesterday, which turned out awesome. We went to our local restaurant supply store, got a big box of boneless, skinless chicken thigh meat. And we got a hand cranked grinder, so we threw it all through the grinder, and then we portioned out 5 pounds of meat, and then did our seasonings, mixed it all up. We tweaked the seasonings a little bit, so we kind of tasted each batch to see how we liked it. We fried a few on the stove, and we ate those. The rest we baked in the oven. I actually still have, half of the meat in the fridge that I need to make into patties and cook in the oven, and then we're gonna process those in the freeze dryer. So we'll have to try those out after we freeze dried them and see how they are, but we were really happy. We just made patties. We didn't do links or anything like that. So anyways, that was super fun and awesome. So I'll let you know how the sausage patties turn out in the freeze dryer. And then the other thing I want to touch on, which even thinking about it right now is making my heart rate go up. I want to tell you why apparently wireless Wi-Fi cameras are evil. That may be a smidge of an exaggeration, but right now I don't feel like it is. We have one of those wireless cameras at our front door, so we can see who comes and goes, if the UPS man drops something off, if the neighbor's coming by. When we got them, we also put one in our girls' room because they were still young, and we used it like a baby monitor. So we wanted to check on them before we went to bed without waking them up. We just click on our phone, check the camera, you can see that they're breathing, we can go to bed. So last week, the girls, Mom, Dad, we're scared, which they've done before, mostly just because they want one last hug, good night. So my husband went in there and was like, you guys don't need to be dramatic, you just need to calm down and go to bed. But my oldest was adamant that she had heard something. So he talked to her, he looked under the bed, he looked in the closet, he promised he'd check the rest of the house to make sure there wasn't anything weird. And thank God he listened to her and his intuition. He checked the camera, and there was a voice that came over the camera and asked them what they were doing. It was a man's voice. I'm getting goosebumps and my heart rate's going up. Whew. Okay. So anyways, somebody hacked into our system. I don't know if that was the first time. That will be the last time they are in our house though. So needless to say, all of the cameras are no longer in our house. But I wanted to give a warning to parents out there, or to people in general. If you have wireless, almost anything, but wireless cameras in particular at this juncture, people can hack them and have access to whatever's going on in your home. And that's not something that I'm comfortable with, and it won't happen again. So anyways, on a happier note, I don't know what my happier note is. I'm thankful that we listened to our oldest when she said she heard something, and that we didn't just let it go. Because if we'd let it go and then found out later on, couple days, couple weeks, whatever, if we hadn't looked then and it had continued to happen, I would feel immeasurably worse about the whole situation than I do knowing as soon as we found out, we took action. So I guess that is the silver lining to a horrible thing. I think that is all I have for you today. It is attempting to snow outside. I'm pretty sure it's still above freezing, so it's not gonna do much, but for the moment, it's pretty and it makes me want to stay inside where it's warm and cozy. I hope y'all are doing great, and I will catch you soon.